once we had the 2 cohorts, we wrote them a letter which was co-designed with a group of young people themselves. So we proposed a letter, took it for the forum discussion. They completely tore it apart, redid it to make it sound much more sort of appealing to a young person. Obviously, if it was a child, we would write to the caregiver. If it was above a certain age, it would go directly to the child. It would be named to the child. So that was an open invite, and we stipulated an opt-out system. So if they didn't want to be contacted, then we asked them to let us know that they wanted to opt out of the offer. And the offer was we had to be very careful what we put down, because obviously we didn't want them to feel that they've been kind of singled out in some way. So it was quite generic without making references to ACEs. And we've not had anyone who actively opted out. We've had some who were just not responding to multiple contacts. But essentially everyone who did not opt out and we could contact was contacted, offered a one-to-one initial appointment assessment. If it was a young person, they were offered to come by themselves or bring a member of their family. If that was a child, then obviously it would be for the family. And during that assessment, the social prescriber link worker would identify if there were any active needs that would need an active intervention. If there was nothing identified, then they would be offered a 6-week resilience program that was just designed bespoke for this intervention by the social prescriber, and she would tweak the program depending on their personal background. So the person would be invited to attend the sessions, one-to-one sessions, to essentially to increase their emotional resilience and help them to cope with whatever challenges they might be experiencing or likely to be experiencing. So obviously the schools we try to target, we specifically want to target the ones in the most deprived parts of our locality, which is Cheltenham. And what we also started to see as the social prescriber link worker role embedded, and they've become really well established and very popular with the GPs, as GPs started to really utilize social prescriber link workers as a sort of intermediate step between the initial, what we can do as GPs and what the CAMS can offer, and started to utilize them either for children who have been referred to CAMS, but we know that they're waiting for 12, they might well be waiting for 12 months, even though they have serious mental health problems, or perhaps maybe as a sort of step towards referral to CAMS. And what we have found is through regular input from the social prescribers, some of the children either were able to come off the waiting list for CAMS because they've had successful intervention and their needs were met, or if they did still need to progress to CAMS, it felt that there were a lot more, the perception was that they were a lot more primed, prepared to engage in the therapeutic work from CAMS. It started about a year ago. We made a proposal to, at the time, at CCG, to fund a pilot mental health support worker who would work at a PCN and school footprint to proactively support children who are on the waiting list for CAMS, because they tend to be children with complex mental, often will quite, need quite intense inputs. And whilst our social prescriber link workers, can do their bit, then this isn't sort of really their main remit. And we also what we also found through the proactive work with the schools is that because we are in an dense urban area, they would often go to schools and have to reject 2/3 of children presented to the school because they're not registered with one of the 6 practices within our PCN. So we mapped out specific areas, and one of them is called West Cheltenham, which has a secondary school right within this sort of the most deprived part of Cheltenham, and it's a secondary school that we've already been working with in our proactive approach. So it's kind of felt natural that actually, as well as offering the service to our PCN patients, we would also like to place this mental health support worker within that school. So it doesn't matter then where you're registered, and you're not disadvantaged, but it's where the most need is.